Okay, I guess we go to, we can make it lower. Huh? How we do that low? Huh? I think we're going to get a start, inshallah. Okay. Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of God, most merciful, most gracious, we'll start this workshop, inshallah. My name is Midhat al-Miski. I'm the president of Islamic Understanding Institute, and I will let the moderator come, so can he start. You're going to take over after us, right? Okay. I would like just to mention a few things in a couple minutes exactly about what is Institute doing and what actually Abyssinia Clinic is, so people can understand what is the mission of the Islamic Understanding Institute and the Abyssinia Clinic. Islamic Understanding Institute, or known by IOI, is actually established in 2009 in Panama City, in Panhandle area, and by a professional of doctors and engineers and other groups, other professionals. And actually, it's a non-profit organization. And the main objectives of the institute is to one is to establish education programs with the institution, with the government, and with the university, and with other institutions in the area. And the main objective of that is to help and serve the citizens of Bay County and Panhandle area. Also, one of the main objectives in IOI is to actually provide social and civic services, like what we're doing like tonight. We're doing some kind of work which is related to our Abyssinia Clinic, which is actually been established or opened in 2009. 2011, I'm sorry. So actually this was opened after 2 years from establishing IOI. And in this medical facility, clinic, we help the non-insured people, the people who actually not have insurance, to be able to go to doctors or hospitals, and we refer them, if they need to go to the hospital, we refer them to the hospitals, and they actually try to help us every year by giving $25,000 toward this patient who being treated in hospital for mostly lab work and x-rays and things like that. Also, I want to say that we in Abyssinia Free Clinic emphasize the health education and how we can actually educate this community, our community here in Bay County, about such as mental health. We did hold a workshop last year, and also we are holding right now the teen pregnancy prevention, which is, we have, as you see, 5 speakers tonight will be presenting for you the workshop. It's a very heavy workshop, and I hope that you can benefit from it. That's one of the objectives of Abyssinia Clinic also, besides treating you free, the people who is poor or not able to pay, but also give some education in the society. That's been mainly, I'm not going to go more than that to explain about IOR or Abyssinia Clinic, because if you want to know that, go to the website, and you can, if you just go to Google and you find the website, and you can actually know about both organizations very well. I would like to welcome you again, and proud to have you here tonight, and I will like especially tonight to thank Mr. Al Macabri, which is actually who actually presenting the Gulf Coast Community College as a state college, I'm sorry. And actually they help us in many of the workshops before, and I will invite him to come to do some talk to you. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Al McCamery. I'm the Dean of Workforce Development here at Gulf Coast State College. And when my friend Madid asked me if we could host this particular type of workshop, one of the things that's very, very important to the college, not only are we our institution for higher education and learning, but we are at our roots a community college. We offer four-year degrees, but we still believe in giving back to the community. And workshops like this is what's going to be very important as we can talk to the individuals that need it. And even though our numbers are low today, all of you guys go back and talk to someone who wasn't here and let them know what you learned today, then our message still gets across. And so again, I'd like to thank everybody for coming. I want to thank our panelists up here today. I'm sure there'll be a lot of great information. I've met some of these individuals here before. He's one of the participates in one of the hospitals that I'm on the board for, so I'm glad to meet you. And again, welcome to Gulf Coast State College. I'm sure this is going to be a terrific workshop. And again, thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ihab Kanawi. I'm a physician here in town, pediatrician. I'm the moderator tonight. Wanted to welcome everyone. Small crowd, but that gives some more opportunity for interaction. Look at the bright side. I'd like to welcome all our panel of speakers tonight. And I will just go down the list here. We have Miss Willingham with us, Jessica Willingham, and I'll introduce each speaker as it comes time for their speech. We also have Miss Christine Syrian with us as well today. Welcome with us. We also have Miss Chandra Tyson with us tonight. We would like to welcome also Mrs. Iman Al-Qadi, and finally Mr. Bob Kucha. I'll introduce them all individually as we speak about each one's topic. We were going to go ahead and get started. We're already behind schedule. So our first speaker tonight, talking about teen pregnancy and prevention workshop. Important topic. We have Miss Iman Al-Qadi. Miss Iman Al-Qadi is a licensed clinical social worker. She is a resident of Tampa, Florida, and she is an ex-resident here of Bay County. She graduated with a master's degree in social work in 1998 from FSU campus here in Panama City. She has extensive work and experience in individual and family therapy. She also has great experience in depression, anxiety, trauma, post-traumatic stress disorders, survivors of sexual abuse, domestic violence, also involved with faith-based practice for all faiths and ethnicities. She comes to us today from Tampa to talk to us today about her topic, which topic tonight, or the subtopic that she will be talking to us about will be social norms in teen pregnancy. I'd also like to add that Ms. Iman Al-Qadi is a mother of 4, grandmother of 12, great-grandmother of 5. Congratulations for all those. She has extensive travel and lived in many different countries in North Africa, Asia, and Europe. She's presented numerous presentations on women issues in the Middle East and on Islam and Muslims in the United States. I'd like to add this part as well. Have known Ms. Iman Al-Qadi as a young boy and known her family, and I would like to very importantly mention the late Dr. Al-Qadi, her husband, who is currently deceased. He's a mentor, an educator, and a physician role model for most physicians that have come in contact with him. So we just wanted to acknowledge his work as well too. We're pleased to have her here tonight with us, and she's going to talk to us about the social norms and teen pregnancy. Ms. Iman.
evening, everyone. Nice to have you here. And due to my age, I am very technologically challenged. So I did my best with the slides. I hope they'll be okay. I'm really, as Dr. Ihab said, I'm a great-grandmother, so I've actually seen several generations. And when my children were young, society was very different from what it is today. That was in the late 60s, and the changes really started to happen in the early 70s, and then it went very fast. And I'm not going to say whether it went uphill or downhill. I will let you judge. But there are definitely a lot of differences from when my children were young. And when I see the environment that my grandchildren and great-grandchildren grow up in, it's very, very different. So they have actually more challenges than our children had. I think it was easier on our kids, although they didn't think so, but it's a very different environment. Oh, it works. Okay. So what I've seen happen over the years is that we've lost the support of extended family and social connections. As I work with families and young people today, a lot of them no longer live close to their relatives or even the friends they grew up with. Usually because they have to go after the job, so they move a lot. They have a hard time finding the time to make connections locally, and because it's a matter of survival. They have to go to work, and they have to do whatever else they have to do, whether it's at home with their kids or any other responsibilities they might have. So it has really become a problem because when we don't have the support that we need, we flounder, and especially young people. They need the support while they're growing up, and teenagers more than ever. Many years ago, I had a dental hygienist when my kids were young. And I went to the dentist once, and she wasn't there. So, I was afraid he'd fired her because she was really good. And I said, "Where is she?" And they told me, well, she quit. So then a few weeks later, I met her by chance, and I asked her what happened. She said, "My kids became teenagers, so I decided to stay home." At the time, I didn't really value that because my children were still young. And in my mind, you had to be there for them before they went to school. Once they were in kindergarten or first grade, it was okay. You could then do whatever you wanted. And I failed to realize that when they reach teenage, they really need us. I found that out along the way as they grew up. So when we lose, we've also lost the sense of neighborhood and community. Many of us don't know our neighbors. Many of us don't have the time to get to know our neighbors because we move in on a Saturday, we have to start a new job on Monday, and that's it, okay? And then we have to take care of the kids, take care of the house, take care of ourselves, and there's no time to start those relationships. Again, a huge loss. And with the loss of neighbors, we also lose community. Other challenges are, the effect of consumerism. We have to buy the bigger, better, smarter everything, right? And so it becomes a race to make more money so that we can afford to buy all these items that we think are important and necessary, but I think that we can do very well without. It took me forever to get an iPhone. And I have finally graduated from an i4S to an i5. Okay, but I'm still behind the times apparently, because a friend texted me the other day, "Did you get the new i6?" I said, "No, and I'm not going to either." So as long as mine works, that's fine. Okay, so that's another thing that has really grown, and I've seen it. I mean, we're being bombarded by messages constantly about a better product. It may not really be better, but it's newer. Okay, so automatically we think if it's newer, it's going to be better, but that's not always the case. And isn't what we have good enough? If it does its job, it should be good enough. Media and pop culture have a huge influence, especially on young people. By the time we're adults, we usually have a sense of direction of where we're going and what we want to do. We have our goals. Young people are still formulating all that, and they can get very easily influenced by whatever trend is happening around them. And of course, there's a lot of glamour attached to it, and a lot of it's tempting, let's put it that way. Okay, modern technology, I'll have a love-hate relationship with it. When it works, it's great. When it doesn't, it's terrible. And if it's used correctly, it's very, very useful. I think my best friend on earth is Mr. Google. I really think that if it's used well, it's a tremendous tool, but it can also be a hindrance, and it can also bring things into our lives that we should and could do without. And of course, there we go to the inappropriate content, which is very easily accessible nowadays. And young people are so good about bypassing parental controls and any other kind of controls that there might be on there. And as we know, it also can have addictive influences. And easy accessibility to harmful substances. And I'm amazed when I'm working with young people, and I ask them, well, where do you get your weed? Oh, it's everywhere. So, okay, thank you. I really don't specifically want to know, but it is very easily accessible. And as well as, Adderall and all that wonderful stuff. They get it from their friends or they buy it. So that has really affected young people, and they don't realize how much it impacts not only their thinking, but their emotions. And it is definitely harmful. So what are the challenges that a teenager faces? Most of them struggle with education, not in the sense that they're not able to learn, but it's a huge burden. I mean, if somebody wants to succeed and get into a good college, they really have to work hard at it. And then there are so many distractions. Employment, many of them work and go to school. Meeting parents' expectations is really a tough one, because many of us parents tend to have unrealistic expectations, or we want too much too soon, and not realizing that each child is different and may simply mature later, or become more serious about education later, and we tend to push as parents. Many of the young people I'm working with, and that's actually from ages maybe 16 up to 35 or early 30s, believe it or not, have a sense of not belonging. And they have very, very high levels of anxiety. And I can't attribute it to just one factor, but I know that there's a whole generation of children and young people who were greatly impacted by 9/11. Okay? I was actually living and working in Northern Virginia at the time, and I was about 1.5 miles from the Pentagon when it got hit. Luckily, I was inside a building with a client of mine. We didn't know what happened. We came out of the room we were in, and we were told what had happened. It had a huge impact on children, and I think there is a residual impact on them, and they have much more insecurity than the earlier generations. And I think we forget that. So usually when I'm talking to a young adult or someone who experienced that or was aware of it, we do discuss that because it has left an impact on them. Okay, peer pressure, of course, we all know about. We don't have to talk about it. Why can't I do what so-and-so is doing or has done? And the answer is because I'm your mother, right? Or your father, or because you're not he or she. And that's usually not good enough. So we have to really give them a good reason why they can't do whatever it is their peers are doing. But peer pressure is huge and has sometimes a very negative effect on our teenagers because, again, they want to belong. So this generation, I find, has a huge sense of entitlement. Like, I need this, I want it, I have to have it, right? No good reason for it, just because I want it. Then I need to have it, and you need to get it for me, right? So it's really a problem that we're faced with, and I find that even young adults who are employed and who make a good living, they still have this sense of entitlement. It's just an attitude that has become part of society for some reason. Finally, on this slide, confusion between sex and love. A lot of young people are looking for intimacy or closeness, and they really don't know the difference between what is a love that's nurturing and that takes care of you and that helps you grow as a person versus simple physical intimacy. And there's a lot of confusion around that issue, and it's something that should be addressed by parents and educators. Okay, challenges for parenting. Parenting is the most difficult job in the world for which we get no preparation, right? We simply do what our parents did, or if we make a conscious decision to do it differently, then we have to learn about it and study it and then make those changes. But in many cases, we just repeat whatever it is our parents did, right? And sometimes it's good and sometimes it's not so good. So we have to learn also that we cannot be perfect parents. There is no such thing. We have to be good enough. We do the best we can with the tools we have at that particular moment. And going back, we can't change that, right? But we can have conversations with our children that, okay, I did this wrong, I'm sorry, let's fix it, we'll do it differently in the future. And that's a very difficult conversation for many parents. But if we're in the right frame of mind, we can do it. There's a lot of competition between work and family. If we want to advance in our work, then sometimes we take away from family time, which of course hurts us, hurts our kids, and hurts society as well. Teen pregnancy, I found that with a lot of young people that I come into contact with, it's multi-generational. They'll tell me, well, my grandmother had her first child when she was 15. My mother had me when she was 15 and a half, okay? And now I'm expecting. So it becomes normal, more or less, to have early pregnancies. So each family culture is also different. So if it exists in a family, it becomes normalized, and it's not seen as anything that puts a burden on the teenager, because it's not easy to raise a child when you yourself are very young, and I think other people will be addressing that issue in depth. Time constraints, of course, we're pulled in 100 different directions, especially if our children have hundreds of extracurricular activities, and they do. Okay, so again, we have to set limits, not only for ourselves but for our kids, because a lot of them are overextended. They try to do too much, and if we don't limit it, then something, as they say, is going to give, right? Usually it's their studies, because they are so busy with these extracurricular activities, or they get depressed because they're not able to perform as well as they should, or they have severe anxiety. So again, time management is very important. Power struggles between spouses, the parents, if they're not on the same page, that can cause a lot of problems for young people as they're growing up, let alone for the couple. And then power struggles between parents and teenagers, while that's normal, we have to remember who is the parent, right? And make sure we can stay in control. Are you keeping time?
You still have 5 minutes.
Oh, okay. So I hope you're fast readers. Actually, I don't have that many slides. Okay, so what can help teenagers? Defining long-term goals with help from family, friends, and educators. Okay? Educating themselves regarding their own psychological development, because that will give them insight into why they feel this way today and then they feel that way tomorrow, and they have, you know, different mood changes, and they're not comfortable, they're not happy. So all that is actually part of growing up. So once they can understand that, it'll help them with their own feelings and their own behavior. Choose friends based on character rather than popularity. So friends who are going to make I was hoping we'd have some teenagers here, but you know, people, friends who make us better people and make us act better while we're with them. Avoid potentially harmful situations as much as possible, whether that is violence or sex or drugs or whatever it is, anything that can lead to trouble. Keep an open channel of communication with parents, adult role models, and educators, and feel free to ask advice for problems, whether real or theoretical. Okay, so recently somebody was asking, I have a friend and I think she might be pregnant. Okay, so obviously it was her, but you know, so even if it's a theoretical question, they should be encouraged to ask. What can help parents is adopting, if you don't mind, I'm going to do this. Ooh, doesn't. Okay. Adopting clear family values, and that has to start from when the kids are really young. We can't all of a sudden, when they're 14 and doing something really silly, say, oh, you know, we don't do this in this family. It has to start from a very young age. Having realistic expectations of our children, I think I mentioned that already. Again, seeking psychoeducation regarding relationships within the family. I'm very much a systemic person, so I look at the whole family and see how what one person is doing can affect all the others. So with psychoeducation, people can really understand their roles and how they're affecting each other.